Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Listening Club. I'm Emma, and I'm very happy you're here with us today.
And I'm Jack. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again.
Today's topic is very close to our channel. We're talking about this question: how can podcasts help us learn English?
That is a perfect topic for us because, well, we are a podcast.
Exactly. But today, we don't just want people to listen. We want to help them listen in a smarter way.
Right, because many learners know podcasts are useful, but they are not always sure how to use them well.
Yes, some people just play English in the background and hope it helps.
And sometimes it does help a little, but if you use podcasts in a better way, they can help much more.
So in this episode, we'll talk about why podcasts are good for English, what they can teach us, and how to use them step by step.
And don't worry, we'll keep everything simple and practical.
Great. So let's start with a basic question. Why are podcasts such a good tool for learning English?
I think one big reason is that podcasts sound like real language. They don't always sound like a textbook.
Yes, that's very important. In many textbooks, the English is clean and correct, but sometimes it feels a little too perfect.
Real people don't always speak in perfect textbook sentences. They pause, they react, they repeat things, they speak with feeling.
Exactly. And when learners listen to podcasts, they hear that natural rhythm. They hear how English really moves.
They also hear useful things like stress, tone, and timing.
Let's explain that a little. What do you mean by stress and tone?
Sure, stress is about which words sound stronger. Tone is about feeling. For example, if I say, "That's great," I can sound excited, calm, surprised, or maybe not very excited at all.
Yes, the same words can mean different things, depending on the voice.
And podcasts are great for that because learners are not only hearing words, they are hearing real communication.
I also think podcasts are helpful because they train the ear. Reading and listening are not the same thing.
Not at all. Some learners can read English quite well, but when they hear it, everything feels fast.
That happens a lot. They see the sentence and think, "Oh, this is easy." But when someone says it naturally, they suddenly feel lost.
And that can be frustrating.
Yes, but podcasts give learners a chance to get used to spoken English again and again.
That's the key. Listening gets easier through repeated contact, not in one day, of course, but little by little.
So podcasts help learners hear natural speech, train their ears, and notice emotion and rhythm. That's already a lot.
It is, and there's another reason I like podcasts. They are easy to fit into daily life.
Ah, yes, that's a big one.
You can listen while walking, cooking, cleaning, or resting. You don't always need to sit at a desk.
That makes English feel more natural, too. It becomes part of daily life, not only part of study time.
Exactly, and that can reduce pressure. Sometimes people stop learning because study feels too heavy.
That's true. If every English activity feels like a test, people get tired.
But a podcast can feel lighter. You press play, you relax, and you still learn something.
Of course, that also depends on the podcast. Not every podcast is good for every learner.
Very true. Some podcasts are too fast. Some use too many hard words. Some have too many speakers.
So maybe this is the next question. What kind of podcast is best for English learners?
I would say first, choose something you can mostly follow. Not perfectly, but mostly.
I agree. If a learner understands maybe 60 to 80%, that's often a good level.
If you understand 5%, that's probably too hard.
Yes, that may just feel painful.
And if it's too easy, that's okay sometimes. Easy listening is not bad. Easy listening can build confidence.
I'm glad you said that. Many learners think hard materials are always better.
But that's not true. If something is too hard, the brain can give up.
Yes, The learner stops noticing patterns because they are too busy surviving.
Exactly. So a good podcast level is one that feels understandable but still gives you a small challenge.
Another useful point is topic. Learners should choose topics they actually care about.
Definitely. Interest matters a lot.
If you like psychology, daily life, habits, travel, friendship, music, or learning itself, choose those kinds of topics.
Because when you care about the idea, you stay with the audio longer.
And when you stay longer, you learn more.
That sounds simple, but it's true.
Let's talk about how to actually use a podcast, because I think this is where many learners need help.
Yes, they often ask, should I listen one time, two times? Should I read the transcript? Should I repeat?
So let's make it simple. What would be a good basic method?
I like a three-step method. First, just listen. Second, listen again with support. Third, repeat or review.
Nice. Very clear. Let's go through that slowly.
Step 1. Just listen. Don't stop every 5 seconds. Don't look up every word. Just listen for the general meaning.
Yes. In the first round, the goal is not perfection. The goal is contact.
Exactly. Ask yourself simple questions. What is the topic? Are the speakers happy, serious, relaxed, surprised? What is the main idea?
This first step is important because real listening in daily life also moves forward. We usually do not stop the world and ask for subtitles.
Sadly, no. Real life has no pause button.
So step 1 helps learners practice staying calm while listening.
Then comes step 2. Listen again, but this time with help.
What kind of help?
Maybe a transcript, maybe subtitles, maybe a short note, maybe slower playback if needed.
I think this is where learners notice a lot. They suddenly see, oh, I know this word, but I didn't catch it.
Yes, that happens all the time. They know the word on paper, but not in fast, connected speech.
For example, going to becomes gonna, or want to sounds more like wanna.
Or words connect together. One word ends, another begins, and it sounds different from what the learner expected.
This is why podcasts can be such good listening training. They show the gap between textbook English and spoken English.
And step 2 helps close that gap.
Then comes step 3, repeat or review.
Right. You can listen again. You can shadow the speaker. You can repeat useful lines. You can speak along with the audio.
Let's explain shadowing in a simple way.
Sure, shadowing means you speak with the audio, or just a little behind it. You try to follow the speaker's rhythm and sound.
It's not only about pronunciation, right?
Exactly. It also trains timing, stress, and sentence flow.
And learners do not need to do this for 30 minutes. Even 2 or 3 minutes can be useful.
That's a very good point. Small practice is still real practice.
I think some learners make a mistake here. They think they must study every podcast deeply.
Oh yes, that can become too heavy.
Sometimes deep study is good, but sometimes it's also okay to just listen and enjoy.
We need both. We need focused study and relaxed listening.
That balance matters. If everything becomes hard work, people quit.
And if everything is too passive, progress may be slow.
So maybe a good weekly routine is this: some easy listening, some repeated listening, and some active speaking practice.
I like that. It feels realistic.
Let's give a simple example. Imagine a learner has one short podcast episode, maybe 8 to 10 minutes long.
Okay.
On day 1, they listen once while walking.
On day 2, they listen again and check the transcript.
On day 3, they listen to one small part and repeat it aloud.
And on day 4, they listen again without the transcript and notice what feels easier.
That's already a very nice learning cycle.
Yes, simple, light, repeatable.
Another question is this: how often should learners listen to podcasts?
Honestly, regular listening matters more than long listening.
I agree. 10 minutes every day can be better than 1 hour once a week.
Because the ear needs regular contact. Language learning likes repetition.
Also, daily listening helps English feel familiar, and familiarity reduces fear.
That's important. When people hear English often, it stops feeling like a stranger.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
But let's be honest. Sometimes learners listen to podcasts and feel discouraged. They think, I still miss so much. Maybe this doesn't work.
Yes, that feeling is very common.
What would you say to them?
I would say missing parts is normal. Listening is not about catching every single word.
Yes, that idea helps a lot.
Many good listeners do not catch every word either. They catch enough. They follow the meaning. They stay with the message.
That is such an important change in thinking. Not, I must understand everything, but I want to understand more over time.
Exactly. Progress in listening is often quiet. One day you suddenly notice, oh, this feels easier now.
And that quiet progress is still real progress.
Very real.
Let's talk about one more useful idea: choosing the right kind of podcast for your goal.
Good point. Not all listening goals are the same.
For example, if your goal is confidence, you may want slow, clear, friendly conversation.
If your goal is natural speech, you may want something a little more relaxed and real.
If your goal is vocabulary in one area, maybe choose podcasts about habits, business, travel, or health.
And if your goal is daily practice, the best podcast is often the one you will actually return to tomorrow.
That may be the best advice of all.
Because the perfect podcast that you never listen to is not very helpful.
Very true.
A good enough podcast that you enjoy every day can do much more.
There is also the question of speed. Should learners slow podcasts down?
I think yes, sometimes. It's okay. It's a tool.
I agree. Some people feel guilty about using slower speed.
They shouldn't. Slower speed can help learners notice sounds more clearly.
But maybe not forever.
Right. The goal is not to stay there forever. The goal is to use support, then slowly return to normal speed.
Support is not failure. Support is part of learning.
Exactly.
What about transcripts? Some learners love them. Some worry they depend on them too much.
I think transcripts are very useful if you use them well.
What does use them well mean?
First, try listening without them. Then use them to check what you missed. Then return to listening again.
So the transcript becomes a bridge, not a crutch.
Yes, that's a good way to say it.
I also think learners can collect small phrases from podcasts, not just single words.
Definitely, phrases are powerful.
For example, instead of only learning the word improve, they can learn improve step by step.
Or instead of only learning relax, they can learn relax and listen.
Those small groups of words are easier to use in real life.
And podcasts are full of them because people naturally speak in chunks, not only in single words.
That's another reason podcasts are useful. They teach language in living pieces.
I like that phrase, living pieces.
Thank you. And one more thing. Podcasts can also help pronunciation, even when the learner is mostly listening.
Yes, because the ear shapes the mouth in a way.
I like that.
The more you hear natural English, the more your brain starts to feel what sounds normal.
Then, when you speak, you may begin to copy that rhythm without even noticing.
Exactly. Listening and speaking are closely connected.
So, podcasts are not only for listening tests, they can support speaking too.
Absolutely.
Before we close, let's give listeners a very simple action plan, just something they can do this week.
Good idea.
Step 1. Choose one podcast episode that feels interesting and not too hard.
Step 2. Listen once for the main idea. Stay relaxed.
Step 3. Listen again with a transcript or subtitles if possible.
Step 4. Repeat one short part aloud. Even 1 minute is enough.
Step 5. Come back to the same episode one more time later in the week.
And step 6. Keep going. Don't judge yourself too quickly.
Yes, that matters. Listening improves through steady contact, not sudden magic.
Though sudden magic would be nice.
It would, but step-by-step progress is still something to feel good about.
Very much so.
So today's idea is simple. Podcasts can help us learn English because they bring us real spoken language, natural rhythm, useful repetition, and easy daily practice.
And the best way to use them is not to chase perfection. It's to listen regularly, use support when needed, and return to the audio more than once.
Keep it simple, keep it steady, and let podcasts become part of your life.
That's when learning starts to feel natural.
Thanks so much for listening to English Listening Club today.
We hope this episode helps you enjoy English a little more and use podcasts in a smarter way.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who is also learning English.
And maybe listen to one more episode today.
That's a great idea. Take care, keep listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.